Welcome to This Week in Metropolis. I'm James.
And we are live. In this episode, we're going to be talking about piracy. Is it good? Is it bad? Should we be doing it? Shouldn't we be doing it? We're also going to be hearing from Question Mark, who's asked us a very interesting question about the GTA series. And just to finish up, we'll be talking about actors who think they're not good enough just being actors. They can do other stuff as well. So, yeah, watch out for that.
Yeah, and before we get into that, make sure you like and subscribe to our channel. We are live tonight on Facebook and on YouTube. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. We want all the followers we get. Just follow us. You might as well while you're here. And make sure you check us out on all the socials. We will have a ticker at the bottom, which will have all of them on display shortly. But before we get into that, let's just see this.
Welcome to This Week in Metropolis.
We are live, Matt. Live.
This is very, very exciting.
It's mad. It's mad.
It's exciting.
Can't believe it's like we're
I know.
reinventing the wheel for us. Look at all this. Look at it all.
I know.
If you are watching, you can see all the places you can find us on social media. Make sure, I mean, if you're watching it, then you obviously know about it anyway, but tell your friends.
The interesting thing this week as well, if you're listening to this on Spotify a little bit later or other streaming platforms, you won't be able to take advantage of it. But if you're listening to it or watching it live, you can actually talk to us, which is really cool in the comments section. So keep an eye out for that. We will be doing this on a regular basis. So yeah, fantastic.
Yeah. We've actually already had a comment come in, actually. I just want to pop that up so you can all see. It's come from Steve at SCW. Hi, guys. Hope you're both keeping well. Awesome that This Week in Metropolis is live. Gotta say, I'm loving the fastest growing song, I Am Matt Healy. Can't wait for the acoustic version.
Acoustic
Steve,
version. Wow.
It's so funny that you mentioned the acoustic version because I've got this little baby here. No, I haven't worked on it yet. But one day there might be.
That is a great idea.
Version. Imagine that.
Yeah.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks for joining us. How you been, Matt?
Good. I'm drinking a beer this evening for a change.
Cheers.
As we often do, which I was quite excited for this evening. It's by Two Tribes, and I don't think you can possibly see this, but it was the closest I could get to our name as possible. It's called Metroland, which I thought was quite a nice touch, wasn't it? It's not quite This Week in Metropolis beer, which would be even better, but it's a close second, isn't it?
I mean, one day we might have our own alcoholic beverage named after us. But yeah, it's been a tough few days for me. I won't lie for the listeners. The household has come down with COVID. And when I say the household, I actually just mean my youngest. It's not been great. She's very clingy. But hey.
But she's okay otherwise, isn't she?
She's okay, yeah. She's okay. That's just so everyone knows, she is okay. We've all tested as well, and we're all fine. So, gutted for her. But other than that, I mean, you watched any films or anything, Matt, just recently?
Most recently, I would say I've been trying to delve into films that I haven't seen before. That I really should have done, and I'm always mocked for this. I know you've always mocked me for this, and you'll say, "Oh, have you seen this film?" And I'm like, "The what?"
Lion King.
Lion King. See, I've seen the remake now, but I've never seen the original. But hey, never mind that. But The Big Lebowski was probably the most recent one. Not I saw, which is an amazing film. But yeah, it's fantastic.
Nice. I watched A Quiet Place 2. For anyone who follows us on the socials, you would have seen I posted a review of that the other day. Very good film. Solid. I enjoyed it. It was surprising because I think I mentioned in my post that the first one was actually given quite a harsh critique. I felt. So yeah, that was weird. But yeah, really enjoyed the second one. John Krasinski, who is known for being Jim in The Office. He was the director. Starred in both, but only briefly in the second. But if you get a chance, check them out. They are really good. We've had another comment come in. A good friend of ours from our comic book quiz, Chris from Off My Shelves. Go and check out his show. It's very good. Hi, hope your daughter has an easy time of it and gets well soon. Thank you very much, Chris. Much appreciated. We're going to kick off today, Matt. Yeah, I was just going to say, what we're kicking off.
Well, this stems from a little bit of controversy that's happened in the gaming world in the last couple of days. And where it started was Kotaku, well-known gaming blog, and PC Gamer, I think the other publication was, put out an article about Metroid Dread, which is a brand new game. It only came out on the 8th, and it's a Switch game, a continuation of the Metroid series. However, what they said in their article, which was the problem which a lot of people found with it, was that they were sharing that there was an emulator available on the PC that was capable of playing that game the day after it came out. So, most people would assume or relate emulators to playing Super Mario 2 or something like that. But this was
retro classics
that you can't necessarily get or aren't freely available. But this was really a sort of a watershed moment in the fact that the game had come out a day before, and already, if you knew how and if you knew where to go about it, that was available to you, which was quite a big thing. Their intention, I don't think, was necessarily to advertise piracy as such, but it raises a lot of interesting questions about this thing now, really, in that we've now reached a point where PCs and games consoles are very much on an even sort of setting, and they're more than capable now of emulating it. The issue that they had, particularly with this thing, or the issue that certainly people that were commenting on these particular posts had, was that you can play Metroid Dread on your PC in 4K, whereas if you've got a Switch, you can only get it at 720p. I think it's 900p at the highest. So you can actually pirate a game better than it is now on the console of the choice. So yeah.
And do you know if anything's come up with the people that kind of leaked it? What was it? What they called? Sorry,
Kotaku is the
Kotaku. That's it. Yeah.
Kotaku.
Oh, that one. Yeah.
Yeah. Kotaku.
Yeah. So what's happened with them then?
Well, the thing is that publication has apologised and said, look, we didn't mean for it to be an advertisement of piracy. But the thing is, in the article, and I'm not going to mention, by all means, check out the website, check out the articles if you want. Like I said, it was PC Gamer as well. They actually said on there clearly the two emulators that you can find and that you can get and you can do to, use to do this thing. And it's not as straightforward as just downloading it and you can get it easily. You do have to have a Switch. You do have to take certain files off the Switch and use those to then play the games. So it's a little bit more complicated. It's not necessarily something you just press a button and do, but it's still possible. And the fact that they were leading people directly to the path of, but this is how you do it, guys. Get on it.
Mad.
Almost. Exactly. It's crazy. They should have known better, I think, with that. But what do you think in terms of, do you think what's I guess it's more of a moral issue than anything else, isn't it?
Oh, of course, yeah. And it's the same with any sort of piracy. It's one of them things that's too easy to do. I mean, listen, I'm no expert, but I know how to pirate a film or a game, and it's really not that difficult. I think the issue is that there's blurred lines between what's acceptable and what's not. It's the problem is that if there's the opportunity there to do it, people will do it. I've had a scenario recently, so from a gaming perspective as well, with FIFA, for example. I always tend to look around, see who's doing the deals, and there might be a cheaper version of it here. And I think FIFA 21, I think I got as a code, and it was on offer, and it was legit. It wasn't stolen from anyone or anything like that. And I was looking around for deals for FIFA 22, and I found one. And I thought, this can't be right. And it said it was like 35 quid or 36 quid. And I thought, I'm on that.
Which retail is what 60, 70?
60, 70 quid, yeah, something like that. And so I started going down the road of ordering it via this site. And it was the way I looked at it, was a CD key code or whatever they call it. And went down the road of doing that. And then all of a sudden, I think I paid the money up front. I had to set up an account on this site. Can't remember the name of it. And then all of a sudden, I'm speaking to someone and they're like, oh, yeah, the game will be on an account that you'll need to log into, download the game, and then delete the information and then go back onto your account. I was like, something, where my spider senses in the background were like, something isn't right here.
James Tingles, we're going off.
Yeah, my James Tingles. Yeah, that's right. And so I went back to this person. I was like, I'm sorry, I'm not sure about this. Let's just cancel. You haven't done anything. Oh, but I'm processing it. I was like, no, I'm still not sure about this. Oh, well, it'll have to be raised and all this. And I just said, look, I haven't received anything. I've given you money for something that you haven't given me, so I can't be claimed to have taken it and then now I want my money back. And eventually we got to the end of it and I ended up paying 70 quid for it on PlayStation Store because I felt like it was the right thing to do. However, there are people that, we spoke about it afterwards and you said there is this thing that people do where they'll steal it from someone's PlayStation or Xbox account and then sell it on to someone else.
I was reading recently that there's a piece of software, I think it's called something like, I'm sure it's called Bloody Stealer, is the name of this piece of software. So it's quite literal in terms of what it is. And I'm sure it's like a freely available piece of thing, as a lot of these hacking tools are. And what it does is just searches through all of the, we have emails occasionally where it will say your password has been leaked wherever it may be. And if that's the case, it goes through all those lists and just tries out if you've got a Steam account, if you've got an Epic account, if you've got an Origin account or whatever. It just plows through all of those and tests your email address and password on all of those things. And because so many people use the same password for lots of things, they get hold of those accounts. So they can then sell accounts with, and you have to think it's not just, even with things like FIFA, you have all of like the in-game currency and all of the add-ons and that sort of stuff. If they get hold of that, that's all got real world value to it. And I know certainly with like Fortnite and games like that, an account with certain skins or an account with certain items and that in it is very valuable, and it is quite a big business, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, on the same site, I remember seeing that they were selling FIFA points, and again, I assume that's purely taken from someone's account after we spoke afterwards. Where is it coming from? Because they're selling them so cheap as well. So there's a lot of iffy things around that. But you say about that sharing of, stealing data and sharing it elsewhere and reaping the rewards from it. We were talking earlier today about the same thing going around with like your details of what you see online. So, and we talked about this with Robbie recently on Out of the Blank. If you get a chance, go and check out Out of the Blank. We'll be on an up and coming episode, possibly this week, I believe. But we were talking about how you can literally be having a conversation about a product of some sort. We could be talking about FIFA, and all of a sudden, it would probably be down to my search history, but we could be doing a feature on that, and then all of a sudden, I'm seeing it in my advertising online. And I saw something, a guy was on Dragon's Den talking about this and how our data is just distributed everywhere and sold off. So they'll make a digital footprint of you as a person and what your interests are, and then that gets sold off to someone. They make money from that. Now, what this guy had come on to do was he'd set up a company called Generate, and it's a browser where you have the choice to either be completely private and your information doesn't get shared, or you can choose the reward scheme where it is shared, but only to selected avenues of
companies
interest.
of your interest, isn't it? I
Yeah,
think.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I set up a profile today and selected my interests. It might be football and gaming and pop culture or whatever. And now my advertising will be, but you get points. So every time your information is shared, you get points, and then you can use them points for redeeming either vouchers or products, or even, and this was like to pull on the heartstrings, even you can give that to charity. It's just like this. It just made sense, and
Fantastic idea, isn't
it
it?
feels like it's a movement more than just something
Yeah.
to try and lure you in. It's like a big privacy thing that people aren't even aware of. And he was even explaining to one of the dragons about, they said, oh, so is this to do with like cookies? And even me, like, you know, anytime you go on a website and it says accept all cookies, I'm just like, yeah, just get on with it. And he said if that was reworded to what it should actually say, which is accept all trackers, would you do it?
It's very different.
And I
language,
even asked,
isn't it?
I asked my mum this earlier, and she said, well, no. And I was like, well, that's what you're doing. And people aren't educated enough, and me as well. You know, I'm just quite ignorant, just crack on, mate. But now, if you can, I mean, it's entirely up to you. But you can add your own way of going forward if that's what you want to do, and it's all through a browser. I mean, I'm using it now, so you know, I could be absolutely raking it in right now.
I think it's a very important thing, and it's something that I touched upon when we spoke to Robbie in that episode. But I think everyone really should know how things work, and like our world is so software led, and it's important that you know what these things do, and you know how they operate, and you know why something is asking you that question. You know, it's not saying, oh, can you press this button just so you can come in the website for your good at all. It's, you know, it's for their good as well.
Yeah,
you know, Facebook watches what you do, whether you're on their website or not. It is, you know, because of cookies and things.
Yeah. And ironically, it was Facebook where I saw that video. So
there we go. See, they're watching you now.
We'll never know. Well, speaking of watching us, if you are watching us, get your comments in. We'll give you a shout out. Well, special one who's watching us.
Yeah.
Question mark himself. He is live watching us right now on YouTube. Whoop whoop. Hello to him. Hi, Mark. Well, actually, that's a good point that Mark's now joined us, Matt.
Exactly, it is.
We could actually switch over to this.
Question mark. Hello, gentlemen. Thank you for having me on again. With Rockstar releasing the old trilogy of GTA games, revamping GTA 5 and not releasing GTA 6 anytime soon, should we really support that company anymore? Question mark.
Well,
great question.
Great question, Mark. Should we? I mean, straight to it. No. Next question.
Well, just to set the tone of this, what I did was listed. I made a list before this episode of when the games came out, which I think is an important thing, because as Mark said, Rockstar have a sort of ran with GTA 5 for God knows how long. So they're creaming money off of their online service. But they're re-releasing 3 games, which are amazing games and were great at the time. Grand Theft Auto 3, when do you think that came out? Just a quick pop quiz for you.
2007.
No. 2001 is when GTA 3 came out. That was on the PS2 that came out. So, yeah, long time ago.
They're remastering that.
They're remastering that. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Which
Okay.
it was a groundbreaking game when it came out, but I think it still had a lot of flaws in it.
Yeah.
Vice City. Any guesses? Bearing in mind it was after 3.
Let me just do my maths.
1995.
Well, I'll probably say 2010.
No, 2002.
Oh, I thought. Well, the thing is, there's been such a gap in between certain
Yes,
games
no,
that I thought it might be that. So they must have churned them out pretty quick.
So yeah, they were very, very close, and I think Vice City was, to me, a much better game. To be honest, we got some good guesses coming in that are all wrong. So
Yeah.
everyone, the next guess, San Andreas. So GTA San Andreas, which was miles like in terms of advancements of a game. It was a huge map. It was open world. You could climb. I remember you could climb, which the other games couldn't offer. When do we think San Andreas came out?
Well, I've said it the other 2 times. I'll say it again. 2010.
No.
Oh,
Chris, off my shelves. Bang on. 2004 is when San
Wow.
Andreas came out. So they're really
Yeah.
old games. And I've mentioned on the show before, I've got an original Xbox. All 3 of those games are on that original Xbox. So, you know, it's very old. GTA 4. Are you giving up guessing? Shall I just run through the...
yeah. I'd run for him, mate.
GTA 4,
2010.
2008 was GTA 4. GTA 5, which is the current GTA game, was 2013.
Oh.
So
there was a bit of a gap. Yeah.
you know, we're near. It's an 8-year-old game now. Is their most relevant game in the GTA series.
So they're remaking 3, Vice City, and San Andreas, and 5.
No.
I thought they were doing a remaster of 5.
For the new consoles, hasn't it? They've been tweaked for the new consoles, but
yeah,
3 Vice City and San Andreas are in this new. I can't remember what they call it. It's some like anniversary pack or something like that.
Oh, and the trilogy. Yeah, I done a post the other day, so I should know what it's called, but I know what you're about. Yeah,
yeah.
But the question is, so when Mark sent us this earlier today, straight away I was like, no, because I'd much rather they focus. I loved all them games. Didn't complete any of them. Loved all them games. But I'd much rather they focused on, rather than worrying about all them, and I'm sure it's not as difficult for them to do this as it would be to create a whole new story and a whole new game. But that's what people want. We're all waiting for the next one, especially with it being on, you know, the X series or Series X, whatever it's called, that big box.
The better console.
Or the spaceships that is the PS5. So, you know, we'd all want to see a 6 rather than going back over old grounds. Because, to be fair, I mean, we've talked about the whole going back over retro games now. And when you say the years of some of them, they are retro now, technically.
Really,
you know, they're nearly 20 years old.
Yeah, so, exactly. 3 is this year 20 years old.
If you were playing on like the classic, I mean, we talked about emulators, but emulators or classic consoles, if you had a mini whatever, PlayStation 2 or PlayStation 1, whatever, you'd want to play that version of it. Do you know what I mean? Because I don't know.
I don't know. Just from recent experience and on the original Xbox, I've played Vice City recently, and it looks old. Like, because it is old, it does look old, and it's still got the charm and so on. But I don't know, even if it was, you know, rendered for a modern console, would it? Yeah. So Chris has said there, it's a slight graphics improvement on rebat buttons, nothing major, which I think is probably right. You don't want to change it too much to, you know, not being Vice City anymore, but still. Yeah. I remember playing San Andreas and then playing Vice City, and San Andreas was such a big leap from Vice City. You thought, well, I don't really want to play Vice City anymore because San Andreas is so much better. And if San Andreas came out in 2004, that sort of, you know, says it all, really.
Yeah.
And the game, GTA 5, let's not overlook the fact how amazing GTA 5 was. Incredible, absolutely incredible. Like the story, the cinematic cutscenes, the
Switching between
the
characters,
open
couldn't you, on that?
world. Yeah. And
Yeah.
switching between characters, the actual depth of the characters. The fact I remember one instance where I wandered into the woods somewhere and I got killed by a mountain lion. And that completely wound me up. It completely wound me up at the time. But how cool is that? Like you're just
Hang
minding
on,
your
hang on.
business.
Just quickly, we need Matt's rants.
Matt's rants. Exactly. This is Matt's rants. How amazing is that? Like I was in the middle of a mission, it completely screwed me over. But the care that they went in that game to add all those little bits was absolutely incredible. So
and we saw the development, because Rockstar, obviously, I can't remember what year that even was, but then they went and done Red Dead.
Yeah.
Which, for all its faults, I think people complained about the length of time it took you to get from A to B a lot of the time. I certainly did, especially if your horse got killed along the way.
Yeah, that I hated. You was in the middle of nowhere and someone nicked your horse and then you had to walk home.
That's it. But at least you then, I think with the follow-up, we had, you could do the quick travel, I think. You could do where it's speeded it up a little bit.
Sure.
But the developments, we'll have to look into. Does anyone knows watching what years they came out? Because it would have been after, I think it was before GTA 5, probably in between 4 and 5, I think.
I would guess, because Red Dead Revolver, again, which was the first one I've got on the Xbox, the original Xbox. I'd say that was probably 2007 or something like that, towards the end of life bit.
2010, anyone? Anyone for 2010?
I would guess that the original Red Dead Redemption was probably about 2010. That was 360, I think. Amazing games, but I guess that's what you have to look at with Rockstar. Is it's not just GTA. It's they learned from GTA and then they incorporated bits into Red Dead Redemption and then they went back to GTA, and it's this ongoing thing. But looking at a fan sort of Twitter account, or like a community Twitter account, GTA 6 has apparently been in development since 2014.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's nuts, isn't it?
How is that not done yet? But then I bet when it comes out, it's going to be massive, though.
That was my side question, though. Like, seeing how great the games have been each time, what do they need to do in 6 to make it worthwhile? Like, what they could do the equivalent to 5 and add a little bit more, but 2010 Red Dead, told you.
Great guess.
Yeah, what can they add to Grand Theft Auto 6 to make it that next level experience?
Well, before I give you my thoughts, Mark's just come in with a controversial thing here. Controversially, I never enjoyed GTA 5 that much. I found the whole city quite empty, especially when compared to Skyrim. Skyrim for the win. And then this is brilliant. What he thinks could be added to 6. Yep. That's right. Dinosaurs.
The Jurassic Park add-on that you can purchase.
Yeah. And Chris has also come in, I think, with a follow-up to what could be added. LA Noire. Oh, no, sorry. LA Noire was my favourite. Had its problems, but the atmosphere and story I loved.
That's a game on my list that I've always wanted to play and never got around to it. LA Noire. That looks amazing. Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Matt's controversy? Sorry, Mark's controversy.
Controversy? What do you mean?
Well, that he didn't like.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I think he's wrong in every way possible. But,
and Mark has left the viewing.
I loved GTA 5 so much. I think I finished Vice City. I finished 4. I finished 5, and I remember the adrenaline in some of the missions in 5, especially in the last one where you're doing this big heist. It was just amazing. Like I found so engrossed in the game, so engrossed. Some of the characters I thought were amazing. Some of the characters I loved, but equally like repulsed me. Some of the missions in that, like the one with Trevor where you have to torture someone, it was so unnecessary and so horrible doing it. Oh, the little sister, exactly. That one as well. But yeah. Hey.
I don't know whether he's saying the little. Is he saying the little sister?
Right.
Because my,
Sorry,
I think I don't
your
know
little
whether
sister.
we've got my
We've
little
got our wires
sister.
crossed.
Yeah, unless you thought of something else that we
No,
don't know
I'm
about.
thinking there was a level with the daughter of someone, I think. And yeah, that was quite unpleasant, but incredible game. Skyrim, I did play, and I remember playing Skyrim for a very limited amount of time. And what I had the genius thing of doing, which I'd learned from Fable, was I'd got a load of weapons or a load of something, and I was going to take it somewhere else to sell it, which I always used to in Fable, and it was really good because you could buy cheap and sell high in a richer area. But what I didn't realise was that the more you carry in Skyrim, the slower you get. So it's as if you're carrying something really heavy. So I remember it took me, like in real time, probably 45 minutes to walk from one place to another. Ridiculous.
Amazing.
Gave up after that.
I tell you what, while he's here, Mark, are you supporting Rockstar with the trilogy and the remake of, or the remastered 5? Because I'm intrigued to know what your thoughts are.
I think the interesting thing that aside from the main, they should be making new games, is I think it will be very interesting now, and I've read a few articles that touch upon it, is that the games came out in a very different time, socially, a very different time. And a lot of jokes or a lot of things that were acceptable then aren't necessarily socially acceptable now. So I wonder how they will treat some of those bits and pieces that are in there, and whether those bits will be changed. And equally in the newer games, because, even in 2013 with GTA 5, I'm sure I can't remember, but I'm sure there's plenty of stuff in there that now we probably wouldn't sort of relate to as such. And I know
like the bit with the little sister.
The little sister. There was the bit I'm thinking of. There was a was that in 4 or 5 where you had to interrogate? I think it was the daughter of one of the characters, and you had to beat them up. That was the bit that I was thinking of. But things like that, it is meant to be entertainment, but I don't know. Are they going to be socially aware with these things?
Yeah, that's a good point. That is a good point. Well, Mark has come back to us. No, I don't think. I think they're making money from old rope. Good point. Only if it come out at a very, very cheap price. If you go back to our piracy part, you might be able to find it on an emulator somewhere.
I'll tell you where to get it for free. Yeah, that's true. That's a really good point. I think 1999, like the old what would the PlayStation use called Platinum or something, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That sort of pricing. That's what they need to do with this. Because otherwise, if they think they can charge 60 quid for 3 old games, come on, that's ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah.
What I was going to say is, I don't know, other than them 2 games, many others that Rockstar actually do. Do you think they need to diversify a bit and go into different?
One of the best games they ever did, was Rockstar Table. This is big. Rockstar Table Tennis, right? Was an incredible game. You're going to think I'm mental, but look it up. It was on the 360, I want to say. One of the best table tennis games you ever played in your life.
And Rockstar done this?
Rockstar did it.
Wow.
Yeah. Amazing.
Wow.
They did a game called Bully as well, which was meant to be fantastic. I never played that, but I think that came out remastered not that long ago. But I think that was on Steam or something like that.
Interesting.
I used to be a huge Rockstar fan. Or Thrasher Skate and Destroy.
Ah, yeah. I remember. Was that Rockstar? Was it?
That was a very early iteration of Rockstar. Yeah, which was Take-Two Interactive, something like that. But yeah, that was when they started.
I remember us talking about that many, many moons ago.
Yeah, and then
my sister said, "Didn't they do a driving game?"
Yes, they did. Midnight Club. That was.
Okay. There you go. She said like Need for Speed type. Yeah. Midnight Club. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Midnight Club. That was So they have
Um,
got quite a huge catalogue of games that they did.
We've got another comment in from Chris from Off My Shelves. The trademark of GTA is offensive humour, so it'd be disastrous if they edited, and it would be full Switch game RRP for certain.
That's the thing. What was great about those games, and particularly in the radio stations and stuff, was it held a mirror up to society, and that was the whole point of it. It was like an over-exaggerated version of real life. With warts and all, with all the bad stuff and everything, and it was sort of like pointing at it rather than it was making an example of it rather than promoting it, I guess.
Yeah.
But you know, it's how people handle that. But I think one thing I said when we saw, I think I tweeted that I just pray that they have all of the licensing sorted with all of the music, because the music was such a big part. Vice City particularly. It's what made the game in a lot of ways. So hopefully
you used to have all the different radio stations and all that, didn't you? It was amazing.
Glasgow on the radio, incredible.
Yeah, good times. Well, there you go, Mark. Our answer to your question is, in fact, probably not, unless they do it at an affordable price. I'd say would be the best answer. But
let's not forget all the good things they've done. And
exactly. But that was this week's question mark. So we move on to our final part of this week's show. Well, this is something you brought to my attention. Was it yesterday or was it last week? I can't even remember.
Yesterday, I believe.
It was yesterday. So this is spare of the moment feature, guys. We're going to talk about, and Matt stumbled. Go on, Matt. You tell us about
it. There was two chance encounters that I had that led me to this moment, and it's a great moment. I think it's sort of peeled back this thing that we never knew existed, and I'm really hyping this up. So let's not all be disappointed. Firstly, I was watching the TV, flicking through the channels randomly, as you do, and there was Bruce Springsteen playing the song, whatever the song was. Never been a huge fan.
Classic. What? Sorry, that's controversial in itself.
He's all right, but I don't go out and to watch it, listen to his music. Come on, please.
Matt's review of Bruce Springsteen. He's all right.
He knows what he's doing. Anyway, playing guitar, I said to myself on the stage, I thought, hang on, that's someone from The Sopranos playing guitar, which completely threw me. Lo and behold, a little bit of Googling. A gentleman called Stephen Van Zandt, who played Silvio in The Sopranos, was in the E Street Band, which was Bruce Springsteen's band. So I thought, wow, that's crazy. Following day, looking at gigs in Norwich, as you do, Kiefer Sutherland is playing a gig in Norwich. Who'd have thought
so basically, what this done, to put it in a nutshell, is planted a seed in your mind of who is an actor who has had a music career that you or I or the listeners and viewers didn't know about.
We just didn't know about, yeah. And the interesting thing was, when I said to Kiefer Sutherland, so I shared this with James very shortly afterwards, he said, I bet Kiefer Sutherland does country music. We checked him out on Spotify. He does country music, yeah. But the recommended, sort of leading down this terrible spiral of music, in the recommended settings was the one and only Kevin Costner, who apparently is also a country and western musician.
I just had him down as he done Robin Hood, but that was Bryan Adams.
That was Bryan Adams, yeah.
We've had a comment about your Bruce Springsteen review from Steve from SCW. Matt's Bruce Springsteen review. He's all right, but wouldn't make me go dancing in the dark. Classic. Go on, Steve. Love it. Steve, not only
I do own Go on.
I was just going to say, Steve is not only the guru of wrestling, but also a karaoke DJ. So knows all this sort of stuff.
I do own
sorry,
a
go on.
Bruce Springsteen album as well, just to put that out there. His Nebraska album, top notch.
Oh, it's top notch, but he's
Top
okay.
notch. Rest of it, forget about that stuff. Yeah.
Chris has come out with one for us. Chesney Hawkes, his acting career is little known.
Yes,
Well,
because he was
Chesney
in Buddy's
Hawkes,
song,
actually.
wasn't he?
I've got a story about Chesney Hawkes. Well, I haven't, but my wife at her leaving prom from uni, Chesney Hawkes played
Wow, that's a letdown, isn't it?
in Warwick. So there you go, big time Ches. Steve's come in. All those karaoke years weren't wasted. No, they weren't. But you should know Dancing in the Dark, regardless. And my sister, the knowledge, I'm surprised she hasn't already watched this, to be fair. Is that the guy who plays Jack Bauer in 24? Yes, it is.
Keith Sutherland. Controversially, I've never watched 24. So,
Me neither.
I'm more of a Lost Boys
rom-com
era. No.
Rom-com
Keith Sutherland, Lost Boys. That's my point of reference when it comes to him.
Which I've only seen recently. So
exactly, but at least you've seen it.
But who did you find down the rabbit hole, Matt?
So there are lots of names, quite a few old names, I'll be honest. Welcome, Phil. Quite a few old names, so bear with me. David Duchovny has a burgeoning music career as of X-Files fame and various other things. His music was quite good. I did listen to that on Spotify and it was okay. Yeah. Bit rockier, less country.
I like the fact that you've sampled these guys as well, not in a weird way.
You've got to. I have just I've never sampled David Duchovny, but I have listened to his music. Yeah. The big man, someone who's very close to my heart, despite his somewhat questionable lifestyle choices, but I love his films. Steven Seagal.
Oh
no, Steven Seagal. Come on, we're talking
Steven
big.
Seagal. Yeah, well, you sent me one of his songs.
Yeah.
So for the listeners and the viewers, Matt sent me one of Steven Seagal's songs. I didn't even listen to it.
No.
But the cover alone, I responded to Matt and said, the cover alone made me moist.
Yeah.
It was hot stuff.
It's Steven Seagal, isn't it?
Steven Seagal. But it's like prime Steven Seagal. It's not Steven Seagal
prime.
of like today.
Old and bumbling. Stephen, we love you if you're listening.
Yeah.
One that I forgot about, again, we're going quite fairly old now. Bruce Willis had a singing career at his peak, didn't he?
I read about this.
Under the Broadwalk was a big song of his, I remember, when I was at school. Don Johnson of Miami Vice fame. Apparently he...
I'd never watched him.
Yeah, we're getting quite old now. But someone
Showing
who's still in... Yeah, showing my age, definitely. Someone who's still in the public eye now, who's a bit of an icon. Kevin Bacon.
Now
he was. His music. Go on, you go.
No, I was going to say I saw, because I'd done a bit of research to see who I recognised that I didn't realise had a singing career, and I saw him in the list, and I thought, wow, what type of music would it be? That was what my big question was.
I don't know, but I can tell you he's in a band called the Bacon Brothers with his brother.
Yeah. Amazing.
Exactly.
And you didn't sample it?
No, I haven't sampled Kevin Bacon, unfortunately.
Mark's asked a question. Kevin Bacon, the one from the greatest film ever made.
What film could that... I only really know him out of Footloose, and I think that's overrated as an 80s film.
I can't think of him. Yeah, other
What
than the EE adverts.
EE adverts, particularly big fan.
Yeah. Not sure. We've got a couple of other things here.
Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe, yeah. Chris has also said lead singer of New York Dolls popping up in Scrooged always shocked me.
I didn't realise lead singer of New York Dolls was in that. I love Scrooged as a film. I think there's an amazing Christmas film with Bill Murray. in it.
Right, okay. Russell Crowe, Chris also mentions, has had a band for years. My sister Kerry has said, Katie Price, don't even go there. And then we've got, okay, so following up from the greatest film ever, this is a reference to Starla from The Guardians. Come on, Phil, Tremors.
Come on. You should know. If anyone's seen our show before, we don't really know much.
We don't.
We
We're just
bang our
blagging
way
it
through
every
this.
week.
However, Tremors, amazing film. I haven't seen that in so long, and I really want to see it again. So
that's what we'll be looking for tonight.
Exactly. That's on my list.
Yeah.
However, let's bring it a little bit newer or a little bit more current.
Well, I've got. Let me bring you some new ones because they were the things that caught my eye more than anything.
Yeah.
So the new ones that I've got, Scarlett Johansson.
Really?
Scarlett Johansson, not only did she bring out her own album in 2008, it's not that, it's long, but it's not that long ago. She also formed a band in 2015 called The Singles and released a song called Candy.
Never knew that. I've heard her sing because she is in the film Sing, isn't she? She plays one of the porcupines. Amazing film. Yeah. Animated film.
She's one of the more recent ones. Next one, Mr. Personality himself. Who am I talking about?
Mr. Personality.
Ryan Gosling.
Oh, not Ryan Gosling.
In 2009, he released an album called Dead Man's Bones as part of a band of the same name.
Dead Man's Personality.
Dead Man. He looks like a dead man. I've got Naomi Campbell in there, but she's not recent, so let's forget about her. But she's
not an actress.
Apparently, it flopped as well. It got to like number 75 in the UK charts. But the one that's close to my heart, because I'm a huge fan, Mark will appreciate this one as well. Ricky Gervais. Did you know he had a band? Was it a band?
Something Freeway wasn't that his?
Oh no! Like years ago, 1982. This is him and his mate. They formed a band, a new wave group, Siona Dancing, who I'd heard him talk about years ago, and yeah, they released a couple of singles. They didn't release an album; they released a couple of singles, neither of which took off. So they decided to call it a day. However, one of them was huge in the Philippines. Don't know why. But yeah, there you go.
Maybe
legend.
We Are Twim will be huge in the Philippines. Yeah, that's what we have to call in that market. I think,
that's the biggest shock. James and Matt from This Week in Metropolis, the podcasting extraordinaires, created their own song. So we're going to be, the ones that you never knew about.
Massive.
PJ, this is a great one from Chris. PJ and Duncan surely count.
That's a fair point because they were actors and then they sort of released that and they had a successful career, didn't they, in music? Love it or hate it.
Yeah.
Come on, let's get ready to rumble. That's never gonna die, is it? Really, it's always
gets the people going.
Exactly, provocative.
Any more you got?
Newer ones that I've got. Michael Cera, who's, famous comedy actor. He's released a couple of albums. I've listened to those, pretty good, like indie stuff. Quite nice.
Really?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have. I just his voice is very how would I describe his voice? Well, no, it's just very. I don't know how to describe it. But yeah,
that's how he sings. Yeah, no, it was good. It was good stuff. It was pleasant. Let's say. The other one who you will know from a film that we've both recently seen, a gentleman called Joe Keery, who was in Free Guy recently. The other half of the sort of developers, the gentleman,
right? Yeah. The one opposite Jodie Comer.
Yeah, that's it. He releases music. He's probably more well known to most people from Stranger Things. He plays Steve in Stranger Things. He releases a music under name of, I don't really know how you pronounce it. It's DJO, so Joe, maybe.
Joe.
But again, or Joe, yeah, maybe you're right, Joe. Really good. I listened to his album and he's really, really good stuff. And that again is sort of like lo-fi sort of indie stuff. Yeah,
That's
really,
your sort of stuff, though, isn't it? Lo-fi. You like all that stuff.
Yeah, exactly. But I think it was the genre, the thing I read that they classed it was bedroom pop. There we go. That's it.
Well, we've had a few sent in here. We've got Phil from Phil's Nerdiverse. Again, go and check out his stuff whenever he puts up his videos. I know he posted one actually, I want to say over the weekend. He's got a new video, but he's trying to make it more frequent, I know. The little girl from the Grinch movie. I think the band was called Pretty Reckless.
That's one to check out.
This is his next one that he said is one I'm actually familiar with as well. Giles from Buffy had a band for a bit. I remember that because I'm sure I saw him on something playing with his band, like a chat show or whatever. So interesting one. And Chris has come in with a classic, William Shatner. Again, I saw that in the list. I saw that in the list of people. There was so many people on this list as well. Some that you'd be like, oh my God, I can't believe they've done that. So we'll have to get some other names and we'll share them with people and we'll send some pictures out. We'll post some pictures of random.
I want to hear
actors.
William Shatner doing common people because that just sounds legendary.
Doesn't sound like it should work, but yeah.
My God, I bet it does.
Yeah, I'm good. So interesting. Well, that's we'll keep listening out for them. We'll share them with you. Maybe we should just start trying to make these people big again in the music world rather than their acting world.
Maybe we'll just create a podcast, actors that sing. But one we've completely missed. So just to finish on this, one that I completely overlooked, massive one. This probably the biggest and possibly one of the most successful in terms of a music career as well. And you could kick yourself when I say this. Jack Black.
Oh, so yeah, but that's no surprise, is it? I mean, if we're talking about,
but he was an actor, and then he had Tenacious D, didn't he? So It's...
Well, I don't know which order he'd done it in. That's the question. Do you?
No, I have no idea.
My research did not go that far. But in both fields, he's incredible.
He's
Tenacious D, like awesome.
And so is he. So
and so is he. And I mean, if you get a chance, go and watch his TikToks. His TikTok videos are incredible. Yeah. You will find yourself lost for days looking at them.
James says from experience.
Yes. Which I'll probably end up doing over the next couple of days while I'm looking after my daughter. Looking after. Well, this has been our first live, Matt. We're coming up for an hour. Have you got anything to tell the listeners and the viewers?
Thanks so much. Thank you for everyone that's joined this evening. Thanks so much. It's been an absolute blast. And as James said at the beginning of the show, it's normally the two of us sitting in our rooms,
bedrooms,
rambling away to each other. So it is so cool having that interaction. And thank you to everyone that's taken time to check it out. This episode will be available everywhere it normally is. So, of course, you can still listen on Amazon and iTunes and Spotify and all of those other places. And that we put it, as well as YouTube. So yeah.
And don't forget, this is the most important thing. And I'm just going to quickly put it up on the screen because Mark said it earlier. He is currently listening to I Am Matt Healy. I hope that's not the first time that he's listened to it because it's been out since episode 1 of this new series. But if you get a chance, go and check out our song. We made a song live on. Well, it went live. I mean, it was live.
Well, it was live when we did it.
Yeah. But we made a song. We're like a band now.
Super group.
So again, check that out. Thank you to everyone who's joined us. As Matt said, Chris enjoyed that. Stay safe. Thank you. Much appreciated. Yeah, make sure you follow us next week. We won't be live next week because we're busy guys. We've got things to do. But we will do another live one soon. But until then, goodbye.
I hope you enjoyed that episode as much as we did. Don't forget to like and subscribe so that you don't miss any of our future episodes.
Yeah, and you can also follow us on all social media. So you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok.